Merry Christmas Eve to everybody, or Yule if you are any of my fellow pagans out there. Welcome back to the SnodaCast. This is Season 2, Episode 12, and actually going to be our finale for the year. For next year is going to be Season 3. We are doing this on Friday just because Saturday is Christmas Day. We don't want to have to really bother anybody, and we're also doing this a couple hours early just because we want to try to go ahead and let everybody have their Christmas Eve with their families, and we're going to go from there. I am joined by the one, the only, the Teddy, a.k.a. Jacob.
Hello.
Hello. We're also joined by Gallows, but I think he is AFK at the moment. And of course, our lovely hungry Hufflepuff, a.k.a. Allie.
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus. And of course, we can't have anybody but Runic Skull. And we finally had the return of one of our original members, the Red King, a.k.a. Jared.
Hey, what's up?
Hey. All right. So, we can't have any SnodaCast. We can't have it any other way without getting into weekly updates. So, of course, I'm going to ask the age-old question. How's everybody's week? Teddy, we're going to go ahead and start with you.
It's windy where I'm at, too much dust, I'm in my car, and it's warm where I'm at.
Fair enough. All right. I think Gallows is still AFK at the moment. Allie, how was your week?
Just getting ready for another weekend with the family.
Fair enough.
Yay.
That's going to require a lot of booze and drugs. I wish you the best of luck. All right. And Runic, how's your week been, man?
It's been alright, currently going through a sandstorm. Whatever.
Well, you know, sandstorms can be fun.
Yeah.
And of course,
Easy to
Jared, I've been dying to ask this question for quite a while. How was your week, man? Jared. Jared!
Another someone watching the second one.
Hey, buddy, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oh.
Hey, Gallows.
Hello,
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, so for the time being, we're on weekly updates. What's up? How's your week, buddy? How's your week been, buddy?
It's going good. Tired, been working a lot. I'm thankful that it's Christmas and I get a break for 3 days.
Hell yeah, I get a break for 3 days too.
I don't.
Tough shit.
Well-
We're not talking to you.
Okay. Well, you guys continue.
Yeah.
I gotta finish something up real quick, right?
No, you're good, buddy. We're just doing weekly updates. Jared, how's your week been, man? Buddy? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so I switched to like an earpiece and without hearing anything.
Okay. Fair enough. We just might have a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, my bad about that.
No, you're good, buddy. No need to beat yourself up over it. But how's your week been, man?
The week after exams and everything, honestly, not too bad.
All right. Well, my week has been more or less just work. I'm out of classes, so that's nice. I don't have to start classes till I think the 15th of next month. So that's good. That's always fun. I'm definitely gonna be working a lot more, but like I did say earlier, I have 3 days off, so that's nice. Hopefully, and I do mean hopefully, I'll be meeting this jackass to my right over here. Yes, because I have some shit for him to take care of, as well as for some shit to give to him. But that being said,
Wait, you guys are taking care of a hit?
no.
Why wasn't I invited?
Allie, you're more than welcome to come, but like we're gonna be hanging out over by them. It's not a hit. It's more just like I've got some. I gotta give him. We're gonna give. I'm gonna give him Ark's present because he's most likely to see Ark before I am.
Not a hit.
Not a hit. Yeah. Anyways.
Fine.
Yeah. Anyways, if you guys are ready, we're gonna go ahead and go straight into now showing.
Hang on, let me get a laptop.
All right.
Okay, I'm good.
All right. For this week, we have in now showing We, of course, have this lovely animation done by yours truly. We have The Kingsman, the prequel to the Kingsman franchise, and looks pretty good. I haven't seen it yet. And, of course, the long-awaited sequel to... long-awaited, but not necessarily needed, sequel to The Matrix, titled The Matrix Resurrections, which both are in theaters, but Matrix Resurrections is also on HBO Max. So, let's go ahead and get Kingsman out of the way. Anybody got any thoughts, comments, concerns about the Kingsman, the franchise, where it's going, everything else like that?
Honestly, I haven't watched any of the movies, but this actually makes me want to actually get into the series.
Well, and this does take place during World War One, which is an interesting historical setting, because for the most part, the last two movies took place during modern day. About as modern as whenever they started, so that's nice. But, you know, it had a weird start to the second one because, spoilers, by the way. Nothing major, but I mean, it's like hinted at the trailers. Apparently, they wipe out all but 2 members of the Kingsmen in the first 20 to 30 minutes of the second movie.
Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, in the second movie.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah.
And then the way they do it, it's like, holy
Well,
crap.
yeah, but it's like, you know, they just kind of do it like, okay, so nobody but these 2 survived. That's some bullshit, but whatever.
The best is they blank each other.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But that being said, the sequel was not necessarily my favorite. It definitely had some bumps and some hiccups, that for sure. But I will still stand by the first movie is it's one of the best original movies I've seen in a while, even though it is based off of a graphic novel. And I would definitely say it respects while also poking fun at really James Bond, yeah. Like spy movies as a whole. So now I will say this, the second one I give it benefit of the doubt because they have the Statesman and they're all named after alcohol. Like that's all their code names. Like we have whiskey, tequila, champagne and all that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. You know. Also you had Channing Tatum. You can't go wrong with Channing Tatum, guys. Come on, like seriously. But that being said, you know, we're on now showing we're talking about the Kingsman. So I still have yet to see it, the new one. I'm currently budgeting money at the moment, aka my dumb ass is broke. But
Tis the season.
Tis the season, exactly. But that being said, I'm actually super excited about this movie, just because I like the Kingsman franchise. Even though, like I said, I was not the biggest fan of the second movie. Wasn't my favorite. I still enjoy this franchise, and I hope that they keep it going for a while. Because there's so much opportunity of what they could do with this franchise. That being said, on to Matrix Resurrections, which I have seen. I watched it on HBO Max. There's a reason why I said not necessary. It's not necessary, but it was somewhat asked for. I will say this: I have my problems with this movie. It was okay. I will say this: it was okay. I'm not gonna bash on the movie, because the Matrix franchise as a whole, minus the effects, like of the first one, the Matrix franchise as a whole has just been okay. They're decent movies. They're nothing groundbreaking other than visually. So
that is a very good way to
describe the Matrix. Yeah, exactly.
Series.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I will give it this: the first movie is groundbreaking in the fact of what they did with the special effects and how they changed sci-fi and action movies for like at least a decade. I think they're still influencing it in some ways. So I give it benefit of the doubt of that. However, it did very, very, very heavily steal from anime, especially in the third one. Like particularly Dragon Ball. That final fight stole almost everything from Dragon Ball. But this new one, there are some questionable things that were done. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a fan of them, particularly with how they bring one or two characters back. One is okay. The other one is kind of questionable because of the actor that they chose. But that being said, there are a few moments that go on a little too long, even though they start off interesting. There are enough interesting tidbits in this movie that will keep you entertained. But the action is the effects are rushed as all hell. Like they look way like some of these effects look worse than the original movie, and that's saying a lot. But that being said, like yeah, so there's some effects in here that I'm like, really? That looks like it's out of Matrix 2. You're telling me you couldn't have any more time to fix this shit? You had a year-long delay, my guy, and you couldn't fix the visual effects? Are you shitting me? Which, granted, okay, to be fair, a movie that I haven't shat on, No Way Home, kind of had a similar issue. There was some, like, visually that movie was questionable. But that being said, this movie, here's the thing. Is it a blatant cash grab? Yes. Is it too meta for its own good?
I was
Most
about to
certainly.
say, I can almost guarantee it.
It is way too meta. Now, granted, if you guys have been watching the channel since we've been back on Twitch, if you guys have been watching the SnodaCast since we've been on Twitch, we did originally bring up the idea that the Matrix was going to have, they were going to originally say that the Matrix movies exist in this Matrix, in this version of the Matrix. So, yes and no. They exist, but they exist as video games. So, is that an interesting concept? Yes. Does it lead to very, very, very meta, in some way harmful meta jokes? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got, there's like literally a line where it's like, hey, this is word from Warner Brothers themselves. Like, they're gonna, either this is gonna be made with or without us. They want another one. And I'm like, okay, so was that an intentional dig at Warner Brothers saying we want another Matrix movie, Mrs. Wachowski? Or was that just a joke? Like, I mean, there's no way that wasn't, like, at least somewhat based in fact. Like, I think that the Wachowskis... Well, it can be a little bit both, yeah. But I will say this. Do they continue to keep the trans allegory? More or less. There's no really official character that I think goes from being male or female in the Matrix and the opposite in the real world. I don't think. There are some very forgettable characters in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Out of the new cast, there's only one person that I remember well that is playing a new character, and that's the blue-haired chick. And she's actually got a lot of personality, so I would actually like to see her in more things. Not necessarily more Matrix sequels, which I know there's going to be more of, because I know this movie's going to make fucking money.
So
but
gonna make money just everyone to see it, that's why.
Yeah. What were you saying, Alan?
What I'm hearing is not much has changed since the original Matrix. We've still got the same issue of a major part of the main cast is forgettable.
Not necessarily the main cast, though. The main cast is really Keanu Reeves and friends. Don't get me wrong, Carrie-Anne Moss is in there. Yahya Abdul, I think is his name. The second, I forget how to say his. I know his first name is Yahya. He was actually really good as the character. I'm not gonna. Okay, well, I can technically reveal it because it was in the second trailer. Yahya Abdul plays a version of Morpheus. It's not the exact version of Morpheus. It is a different version, but it is Morpheus. And then there's another actor that is not Hugo Weaving that plays Smith. And that's where I kind of had my main issue. There's some very big things that I don't like in it. Hey, Shadow.
So what I'm getting at is, in the original Matrix, of the main crew, the ones that we remember the most are, of course,
Smith, Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity.
Yes. The rest of them, I remember Rat, but that's just because he's the traitor.
Oh, I didn't even remember his name. I just remember as Joe Pantoliano. Because he's the angry Italian that always plays the angry Italian.
But from what you're saying, not much has changed since then, as far as that's concerned.
Yes and no, but I will say this. There are moments in this movie that looks worse than the original movie, and that's saying a lot, because that's like 20 plus years.
No, this was just going from the commercial, the trailers and that, I figured this was just a nostalgic cash grab.
There is a lot of member berries in this. Yes, I will agree on that. Now, would I recommend seeing it? Not necessarily in theaters. I would not recommend it in theaters. Don't get me wrong. I would if you want to support it and you want to see more, definitely go out and see it in theaters. I don't have the money for it, and I'd much rather go see Kingsman. Honestly, I really would. But that being said, this movie's fine. If you're a huge Matrix fan, you're gonna enjoy it. I'm not the biggest Matrix fan, but I did have a fun time with it. It's just not as... Okay, this is gonna make me sound like a douche. It's not as thought-provoking as the original, which, don't get me wrong, the original is not that thought-provoking. It's not as, like, blow your fucking mind as it thought it was and everybody else thought it was.
Oh,
But there is some more thought-provoking shit. Oh, I remember. Yeah, like, it was a huge fucking phenomenon. But I find it funny that Neo, the One, his real name is Tom. Which is an anagram for OMT.
For Oh My Tom.
For Oh My Tom. And that anagram is for another thing. That anagram is also an anagram for OMT. Oh My Tom.
Oh My Tom.
Anyways, that being said, is this movie worth seeing? Yes. Is it worth seeing in theaters? No. I mean, there's some... It's not even memorable action either. It's like quick, choppy action, and that's not Matrix. Like, if there's anything I can praise the original Matrix for, it is the effects and the action. Like, the action in the original Matrix is fucking phenomenal. It is hands down, some of the best American action I've seen in a while. This movie does not showcase it as much as it did in the original. There's not as many long takes and like I said, there are some questionable motives that they have in this. And Neil Patrick Harris is in the movie. He's essentially the new architect. That's not really a big spoiler. Like, I mean, it's revealed halfway through the movie, but like, you kind of saw it coming. Especially with how many times they keep bringing him back. I'm like, okay, he's a villain in some way, shape, or form in this. They're not gonna just bring back Smith, which, like I said, the actor they got to play knew Smith. He's not as memorable as Hugo Weaving. And this guy even said, like, oh yeah, I watched the original Matrix films and I studied Hugo Weaving to, like, portray him. And I'm like, okay, you did that for one line that was from the original. Also, there's a lot of shots that just, like, there's snippets from the originals. They just put it in there randomly. I'm like, why?
To be fair, trying to imitate Hugo Weaving
is not that hard, especially from the Matrix. From the Matrix? Oh my god, man.
That man has a flavor all his own.
Shadow. What's up?
Yeah. Oh, also hi, Shadow.
Hugo will throw a good amount of emotion.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It's like, okay, his Agent Smith, I don't know why he never fucking closed his mouth in the entire original movie. He's always having his lips pursed. Mr. Anderson, if you aren't going to kiss me, I'm just going to have to steal the first smooch.
Careful, you keep making references. We're going to have to tell where they're from.
They're from the Nostalgia Critics reviews of the original Matrix films. And honestly, he is the reason why I don't necessarily hold the Matrix as high of a regard as I used to. Because honestly, he brought up a few things that I was like, oh, I didn't think about how stupid that was. There are some really stupid moments in those Matrix movies, especially the sequels, but like even in the first one.
Sir, you keep talking.
I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying it has its flaws. Like, The Matrix is not this god almighty perfect film. Like, it has flaws.
Yeah, like the 200 round magazine.
Yeah, that's true too. Well, okay, to be fair, they could have used a hack, so that actually makes sense in some ways. Like, anything in the Matrix, you can technically, like, especially with weapons, you can technically say, oh, they're just using a hack. And that makes sense.
It's just, from my point of view, it's like, I like to count the rounds just for fun. And it's like, okay, he's on round 250 and he has yet to reload.
Yeah, that's fair.
How many rounds you got in that? I got 150 rounds in this 10-round magazine.
It's like, how is that even possible? But okay, Shadow, to be fair, I like the Matrix movies. I enjoy them. Dude, I bought the fucking trilogy on 4K. Like, I actually enjoy the fucking movies. Are they my favorite series of all time? Fuck no. Are they entertaining? Abso-fucking-lutely. Like, I will defend the Matrix movies. I'm not shitting on them. I'm just saying they got some stupid moments in there. Just that's all I'm saying. Like,
Do me a favor. Go through every movie that you know personally.
Oh boy.
that doesn't have flaws.
And tell me one that doesn't have flaws.
There isn't one. I'm just saying, like, I'm
That-
pointing it out. The Matrix has some flaws.
Okay. Shadow, what you're doing here is exactly what why people who don't think the Matrix is the tops don't say a goddamn thing.
Yeah, you're kind of gatekeeping. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. But before we started a whole argument with me ended up getting stabbed multiple times by Shadow over here, let's go ahead and go on to topic 1.
You are
Fair.
Alright, so our first topic for the night is we officially have the second trailer for Tom Holland and Maki Mock's Uncharted movie, and this is a far fucking better trailer. I am super pumped for this movie now because they're actually finally showing some ridiculous set pieces that are pretty awesome. Like in this trailer, they're not just showing him like falling out of the plane, which is a fun piece. I'm not saying it isn't. They do show that in this movie as well. But there is a part where there are helicopters carrying 2 old-ass giant pirate ships, and they're carrying them through the mountains, and they're having a fight on them. That is so fucking cool, and it is so stupid at the same time, which is Uncharted, man. There's some stupid-ass cool shit in Uncharted.
Hearing this, I want to get a PS3 all over again just so I can play the goddamn series.
Just get a PS4 and get the Uncharted collection.
Fair.
It's funny. Because everything that Tom Holland said he liked, he ended up in. Like, he said he liked Uncharted. He's now an Uncharted main character for a movie.
Yeah.
He wanted to be Spider-Man within 10 years. He became Spider-Man less than 10 years.
Now he's actually saying he might want to hop out, which I hate that, but like...
That one
I don't
chick-
blame him.
Here's the thing. He's saying okay, here's the thing. He said he doesn't want to play he does not want to play Peter Parker / Spider-Man into his 30s. So what he's saying is now he wants to hop out of the Spider-Man movies in order to get a more diverse Spider character in there. He would actually like here's the thing. The one that I would like and that would make a lot of sense is Silk. I think Silk would be a good introduction into the MCU. Because the way the origin story for Silk is, she too got bit by the spider, and we never saw Tom Holland get bit by a spider. But then her parents found out, and then they kept her locked up for years. So essentially, she is the Superman of that universe, in the Flashpoint universe. She's that version of Superman. She's like the one that got captured by the government.
She be able to shoot fucking webs from her skin, like. Fucking...
I think she's able to shoot webs from her fingertips. And
her original
costume
original
was just webbing. It was insulated webbing.
It was completely spider silk.
Yeah, it was completely spider silk. So honestly, I think yeah. Spider-Man has a web shooter. She was one of the first spider people to ever be introduced with actual organic webbing.
Yeah, see, this is a topic of much debate over whether Peter Parker Spider-Man has the natural web shooters or whether he uses technology for it. It's gone back and forth for years.
Okay, to be fair, they never introduced it with that power with Peter Parker until the Sam Raimi movies came out. Then they tried to come up with some bullshit reasoning as to why he ended up getting organic webbing, and he eventually went back to the web shooters anyways.
That's the drawback, is there's like, maybe, on the low point, there's maybe like 20, 30 Spider-Men.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's multiple, especially across multiverses and everything else like that. I will say this. The probably the best one to introduce would be a Silk, because this is still Spider-Man. It wouldn't make sense to introduce Spider-Gwen in this universe, because in Spider-Gwen's universe, Peter Parker becomes the Lizard, and she has to kill him. So Peter Parker is her Uncle Ben in that story. So that's where I'm like, okay, you can't introduce Spider-Gwen. You can technically introduce Miles Morales. That would be interesting. And we've already brought up how they could do that and still keep Tom Holland.
Used for,
I got an idea.
Miles Morales.
Boy, it's a spoiler to the movie, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, come on! Don't even start with that kind of thing.
We can talk about it later. Until everybody here has seen the movie.
I know how they can do it. I really.
Oh
really
no,
do.
I do
know how they can
too.
do it,
Especially how they've
but
set
I
it
don't
up
wanna
so far.
spoil it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, especially where the movie ends, I can definitely see where they would take this franchise. And like I said,
What I see them do
uh
is take I can't remember his name right now, but he's Childish Gambino, and he was in the Community, the black kid.
yeah, Miles Morales. I just said that.
Yeah, he could play Miles Morales. And
Well,
they could-
Childish Gambino was playing his uncle, who is the Prowler. Aaron Davis is the Prowler, and Aaron Davis is Miles Morales' Uncle Ben. If you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, that's what it is. That's essentially, yeah.
Miles Morales,
Mm-hmm.
and bring in Toby as old man Spidey.
I could see that working. I just don't think they're going to bring in... I think, knowing Disney, unless they've changed their minds, honestly, I would love to see Andrew Garfield hop in. Maybe give him a second chance in this universe. That would be awesome. I would love that. However, I don't think Andrew Garfield wanted to play Spider-Man forever either. I think he was like, yeah... I think he came back for this one because he still loves the character. So, like...
Back to the original subject.
Anyways, on to Uncharted. So this trailer, we went on a huge... Well, okay, it's hard to do that without Tom. Anytime you talk about Tom Holland, it's hard to not bring up Spider-Man. But that being said...
I think that's exactly why he's wanting to break out of...
No, and I agree. I think he's definitely worrying about being typecasted. That's why he did a film like Cherry, which was, to be fair, not the best movie in the world. But it was okay. Like, it was decent.
Spider-Man, his first actual movie?
No, In the Heart of the Sea was his first actual movie. He was a kid in that movie.
Well, I was thinking he went straight from, like, Broadway shit.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. But his first on-screen appearance was in The Heart of the Sea.
For a lot of people, Tom Holland didn't really become a household name until Civil War.
That's true. And especially after his first movie. Now, I will say this. Whenever it comes to Uncharted, do I see Tom Holland 100% as Nathan Drake? No. I still think Nathan Fillion would have been a good choice if you wanted to do a grown-up Nathan Drake. Now, granted, they are doing a younger Nathan Drake, which is fine. I'm okay with that. And I could definitely see Tom Holland growing into the character. But, like, I'm still telling you, Nathan Fillion, like, I may be a simp for Nathan Fillion. Because I am. But,
we all are.
Yeah, we all are. Nathan Fillion, come on, you can't say no to that face. Come on, man. It's Nathan fucking Fillion. Like,
even when he's playing a villain.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, like, honest to God, I still want him to at least... I would love for him to have a cameo in this movie. It would be nice for him to have a cameo to kind of acknowledge the fact that, oh yeah, there was that fan-made film that went out on YouTube and he did a really good job. But, like, when it comes to people that bring the character... When it comes to... Yeah.
Sorry. I think if Tom can own the role, he can knock it out of the park.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying he can't. He has the acting chops to do it. I just... When I see him, I don't... Yeah.
Give him a couple movies as a younger Nathan Drake, and then transition into Nathan Fillion as an older one.
That would be nice. That'd be actually kind of cool. But by the time that they do that, Nathan Fillion's going to be a little too old to play Nathan Drake. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So,
About Uncharted?
Yeah, we're talking about Uncharted.
They are.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm everywhere right now.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good, buddy. I'm not blaming you. Hey, Jared, you're being awfully quiet. You got any thoughts on this?
I'll be honest. The only thing I've seen from Uncharted is the trailer, and the only thing I can comment on it was just the visuals. They were just awesome. Like I can't necessarily talk about stuff like the typecasting or like who else might be thrown into the movies afterwards if they do have sequels. Yeah, that's just all I got.
That's fair. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen Uncharted trailer 2, I would highly recommend it. And of course, we also have. Give me 1 second. Let me open up my notepad. Why did it not save? Oh no. I was gonna try to do a thing where like I have all the release dates and shit. So any more thoughts, comments, concerns on Uncharted?
Not really. I just want to see. I want to see it come out already. That's all. I like to see how the movie's gonna be. If they're gonna go with the game logic or not.
Maybe it's turned from seeing him as, you know, the whole badass young Spidey.
Yeah.
To a very good, I would say very great, fucking dungeon crawler.
Mm-hmm.
I call him a thief. I call him a treasure hunter. A very good treasure hunter.
He is a treasure hunter.
A very great fucking treasure hunter. Basically, it's just a treasure hunter movie, but an iconic fucking person.
Okay, so I just looked into it. The director of this directed Venom, both Zombieland movies, 30 minutes or less.
Okay, hated people.
Yeah, those are like his most. He also did the latest Clint Eastwood movie. Yeah, I mean, like he's got some good.
This has a lot of potential.
Yeah, well, okay. I mean, it has a lot of potential to be a fun movie.
Good on both of those movies.
I can see that.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's got a lot of potential to be enjoyable, not just for those of us who are huge fans of the series, but for those of us who really need an introduction to the series.
That's true too. All right.
Really, would it really be an introduction to the series though?
For some people who have never played the games, yes. I think.
I hope the Uncharted, or not trailer, but Uncharted movie that Tom Holland's going to be playing in is just as action-packed as the game was.
That's true. I do, and that's where I think that Venom Let There Be, the guy who directed Venom, and as well as Zombieland, I think he has the chops to shoot some entertaining action, especially with Zombieland. Venom had okay action, but I think with Zombieland, where he shows his prowess.
Yeah.
Shady Michael Bay movie.
Yeah. No, I don't want Uncharted to become a Michael Bay-esque franchise.
No,
I'm just saying in general. Really hope he doesn't just go psycho with the fucking.
I don't think he's gonna go psycho with explosions. I think he's just gonna have ridiculously fun set pieces, like what the original Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy was. I say trilogy because while I do include the fourth film, it's really forgettable, and there's not that many fun action set pieces in that movie.
Honestly, everything after the third movie is forgettable. The fact that you forgot that there's more than 4 movies says that.
Well, no, like my whole thing is like.
I think the last at World End was a good one. Was it Dead Man Chest? Which one?
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
No. Which one's the one with the swirl? The water tornado, or whatever you want to call it.
World's End.
Yeah, that's World End.
World's End? Yeah.
Yeah, where Barbossa dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one with Barbossa is where he dies it's Dead Men Tell No Tales. Which, by the way, I will say this: that trailer had a badass Johnny Cash song to choose. I will give the benefit of the doubt on that one. But I actually have seen all 5 of the Pirates movies. I don't plan on buying the 5th one anytime soon, just because. I mean, if it's like $2 on Blu-ray, yeah, I'll buy it. But like.
$2 on Blu-ray. What the?
Oh, hey, bargain bin.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, bargain bin. This is okay. You know, I'm a big collection hound. Like, I plan on getting Captain Marvel, even though I don't like it. But that's because I'm a big MCU guy. Though, to be fair, I might not actually get it because, like, if there's anything that I can say now about Disney Plus, like, honest to God, I mean, at least it has, you know.
It has most movies. Let's be honest.
Yeah. But that being said, check out Uncharted, starring Tom Holland, and Maki Mock, a.k.a. Mark Wahlberg, February 18th, 2022. And on to our next topic. All right, going from one video game franchise to a possible another. Henry Cavill has actually stated that he would love to be either involved or starring in a Red Dead Redemption 2 storyline. And I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Honestly, 2 would be a good place to start, too.
Well, yeah, because 2 is a prequel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I don't blame him.
from fantasies and swords to western and guns. Let's see it.
Honest to God, though, like, seriously. And I still want this man to become Superman again. Like, I would love to see him play Superman at least one more time. Like, because he's a really good Superman. I think he just had shitty movies to start with. You know, like, don't get me wrong. Zack Snyder's fine. I enjoy some of Zack Snyder's work. I still think 300 is one of his best movies of all time. And Watchmen's fairly good. I actually think the director's cut saves that movie. The ultimate cut, not so much. That added like 30 extra minutes of shit that I didn't need to see. It was like, and I can already hear people in the comments now, but it added shit from the comic, like the comic from within the comic. I get that, but that is so much side quest filler nonsense, and it doesn't really even add up to the movie. I'm not saying the story in the original comic, it does, but in the movie it makes no sense. Kinda. Like, it is a parallel to what they eventually find out, but like, it's still like, oh, cool, we're going animated now. Can I get back to the bullshit that I've seen before? You know, like, that's just kind of how I feel about the ultimate cut. Also, you can only get it on 4K. That's some bullshit.
What?
You can only get the ultimate cut on 4K.
You can get it on 4K though. That's the question.
It came out when 4K was like on the rise, and it still kind of is. I recommend 4K for the sound quality, just because if you have a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray player, it's actually pretty fucking solid, not gonna lie. But that being said, yeah, I think Henry Cavill would do a really good job playing anybody in a Red Dead Redemption movie. And honestly, out of all the movies, this is kind of how I feel about the Uncharted movie. Out of all the games that could be turned into movies, Uncharted, Red Dead Redemption, and trying to think of another one, Doom should be some of the fucking simplest games to ever turn into movies. They fucked with Doom way too many times. I'm hoping they don't fuck up Uncharted. And honestly, I think if Henry Cavill's attached to Red Dead Redemption, he's going to make sure that they don't fuck it up. Like, love or hate The Witcher.
Hear his southern drawl.
That's true, too. That is true.
You're a big Red Redemption fan or what?
Yeah. He's a huge fan of, like, Warhammer, Red Dead Redemption, The Witcher, like...
Warcraft.
He's yeah, Warcraft. He's a huge fan. He's just a big nerd. That's all he is. He's a mega fucking nerd.
I think Henry Cavill could pull off the role, but
Yeah.
if he can't get that drawl down, it's gonna mess with it.
Okay, to be fair, I have heard his American accent in Man from U.N.C.L.E., which, by the way, is a very underrated movie. If you guys have never seen that with Armie Hammer and Henry Cavill, would recommend it.
What's it called?
The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Henry Cavill is the literal depiction of when a nerd gets money.
Yeah. He is essentially when a nerd has decent looks and gets a shit ton of money and is also able to work out 24/7. That's him. He is the mega Chad of nerds.
Vin Diesel?
No. Vin Diesel is not a nerd. Vin Diesel's just mega Chad. Henry Cavill is mega Chad of nerds.
I'll have you know that Vin Diesel's DM.
Yeah, he is big into D&D, has been for years.
Really? He does not
Yes.
give me he does not give me Dungeon Master vibes. He
I
gives
would
me
love
more. He really does just give me Don Toretto vibes. Honest to
I would love
God.
to play in a game with Vin Diesel.
Let's ignore the picture that was circulating the internet a couple years ago where he had an afro.
Oh, I remember that. That looked so bad. Oh my God.
To be fair, Jason Statham in what was that movie where he played the retired FBI agent?
Oh, I know what you're talking
about. Like that. Homeland.
Homefront?
Homefront, that's what it was.
Homefront.
The start where he had the long hair.
Oh dear God.
Yes.
That was such a bad. Okay, you want to bring up examples of bad hair? Original X-Men, Halle Berry's Storm wig.
Oh God, yes.
Oh my God. That is the worst fucking wig I have ever seen. I will say this. The best version of it was in the third one. Like, the third one, it was actually a really good wig. The second one was okay. The second one was a better wig. But the third one... And honestly, here's the thing. I think the third X-Men movie gets shit on way too much.
It does.
It has a collection of cool scenes, but as a whole, not the best story. Especially because it could have been its own thing without the Dark Phoenix saga. You could have cut Jean out of that movie, and practically nothing else would have happened. Like, nothing would have been really changed.
The original X-Men trilogy paved the way for comic book movies as we know them.
That is true, and I give it benefit of the doubt on that. However, is it the most accurate? Fuck no. But we've been spoiled with MCU, so I give them that. But, like, I will say this. Some of the hands-down best fucking casting in that movie is done. 100%. Yeah, like, okay. 100% Ian McKellen as Magneto. Fan-fucking-tastic. Freaking, you also have... I'm blanking on his name. Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor X. That's hands down some of the best ones.
To be fair, anytime I think of Sir Patrick Stewart, what comes to my mind is Jean-Luc Picard.
That is true, but however, he does pull off Professor X very well.
No,
I'm still saying Marvel, give Bryan Cranston a shot at this, or hear me out, Giancarlo Esposito. He would be fantastic. Either or, I'm down for either. I'm just saying we know what Bryan Cranston looks like bald, so I'm telling you, please let him be Professor X. I love him.
We have ADHD so hard.
We do, but okay. So to be fair, we are talking about adaptation, so not too bad. But so
correct y'all on that one. It's not FBI, it's DEA on Authorized.
DEA off Authorized, yeah. Okay. I don't know all the Jason Statham movies. I haven't seen. Okay. You might hate me for this. I've yet to fully watch any of the Transporter movies.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Teddy. I'm sorry, I disappointed you.
I've never finished one before.
Now, to be fair, I have seen Cranked. I have seen Cranked. The one where he like has to keep his adrenaline up.
Voltage?
No, that was Crank. Because they had two of them. Yeah, Crank. I have seen Crank. I have not seen Crank 2, but I have seen Crank.
The second one is okay.
The first one's entertaining as all fuck. Like, it's just an adrenaline... Well, okay. Pardon my cliche here. It's an adrenaline rush from beginning to end. I actually really like Crank. It's not a good movie in any way, shape, or form, but it is so entertaining. It's kind of like Hardcore Henry. Hardcore Henry is not a good movie, but it is so entertaining.
It is, yeah.
Where can I watch that? I haven't seen it in years.
Oh, man. I need to rewatch it all the way through, too. I think I was just so... I have it on Vudu, so... I actually have the damn movie. But if it's on Netflix, yeah. Oh, it's entertaining, for sure. It's not... It's hands down one of my favorite guilty pleasures.
It is not a good movie, but it's entertaining.
It is very entertaining, yeah. I will say this. It's a fairly original idea to shoot an entire movie POV. Like, that's fairly original. I give you benefit of the doubt. But anyways, any more thoughts, comments, concerns on Henry Cavill doing a Red Dead Redemption movie?
So between the Uncharted movie and if they can do an Uncharted movie and pull it off, we might see a surge in video game movies the way that, as I was saying about the original X-Men trilogy, started off the comic book movie era.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Sonic has technically done that with how good it is, like how faithful it is to the source material, I would say.
It started it.
It's not a good movie. It's okay.
We're still trying to get that path to where it's.
I think Sonic 2 is definitely going to start, like, it's going to give it a running start. I definitely think Sonic Movie 2. And if Uncharted is good, then that's definitely going to start the jog. I think jog is going to start with Uncharted, and then you have Sonic Movie 2, and that's going to start the running. Now, if Sonic Movie 2 does really good, no pun intended, of course. If Sonic Movie 2 does really good, then yes, I think we're definitely going to see a trend of like faithful adaptations of video games. Don't get me wrong, The Witcher has technically started that path too, but the first season is I have finished the second season. I will say it's a lot better. It's a lot easier to follow. It's a lot more streamlined. I actually give a shit about Ciri now. I didn't in the first show. I'm like, okay, I don't want anything bad to happen to her, but like, I just don't care.
Know who that is.
Yeah.
Little blonde girl from the first season of The Witcher. You need to watch The Witcher. I would recommend it. It's a slog to get through the first season. Anything that isn't between Geralt and Yennefer. What's up?
I can't even get past the first 2 episodes.
You got to get past those first 2 episodes, man. I'm telling you. It picks up in episode 3. I will give it benefit of the doubt. It does pick up in episode 3.
I'll try to watch it.
Yeah, now I will say this. If you can get through season 1, you're going to really enjoy season 2. Like, season 2 is a lot quicker. Actually, I think season 2 has less episodes. I think it's only 8. I forget how many episodes the first season had. I want to say it had 13.
But I can't remember
It had
if I
8?
said it last week or yesterday.
Yeah, they're all about
Last
an
week,
hour
yeah.
long, so they're about an hour and 10 minutes long. So
Yeah.
about 8 movies all.
8 movies. Well, feature length, movie-wise, is 90 minutes. That's an hour and a half. So, they're mini movies. They're like the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, which did not get... I think it was only like 54 minutes. No.
Season
74.
1, 8 episodes.
Season 1 is 8 episodes. Okay, cool. I figured it was, but man, did it feel so much longer. But I will say this, like, I personally believe if there's anybody that you could attach to any nerdish franchise and get it done right, at least as long as he's given creative say-so, fuck yeah, get Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, you know...
I can't remember if I said it last week or last night, but TV series and streaming series are a good way to convey a video game story.
Oh,
because
100%.
You're able to take your time and make sure that the necessary elements are in.
It's kind of like
That
D&D
being
should
said-
never be a movie. It should be a TV show.
If you're going to do a D&D movie, it has to be a
really
one-shot. You
long
cannot fit an
ass
entire
movie.
campaign into a...
Okay, if you're going to do a
you cannot
D&D
fit anything
movie,
into a movie.
and it's going to be hard as fuck to get it greenlit, if you're going to do a D&D movie, you have to do Lord of the Rings running time. I'm sorry, you just have to.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yeah.
You have to have
Between
it
between
over
the
2.5
player
hours.
shenanigans-
You can make that movie about like, what, 11 hours long?
The extended editions, all 3 of them together, yes, are 11 hours long, because Return of the King is 4 hours, and the first 2 are like a little over 3 hours. I think the second one, I think 2 Towers is like 2 hours 20 minutes, I want to say. Or, sorry, 3 hours 20 minutes. And I think the Fellowship of the Ring is only like 3 hours 3 minutes. So, yeah. But no, I'm just saying, like, you need to go that way if you're going to do D&D. Which we will actually get a chance to talk about a little later.
And I'm ready for that.
Oh, yeah. But anyways,
I'm
on to
ready
our
for
next topic. Our next topic for tonight is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has his official trailer. Actually, it was the end credit scene of Spider-Man No Way Home. That's not really a spoiler. I'm just letting you know. You could skip that end credit scene and just go watch it on YouTube now. It's the exact same thing. It's
Okay,
just a teaser.
I'm gonna before we get started on this, I am going to say I haven't watched the trailer because I'm trying to go into it just completely blank. So I'm gonna deafen myself and just wave when the discussion's done.
Okay. That's fair. Have you guys seen the trailer? The teaser? I know Gallows has because he just got back from the movie the other day.
I've seen it, yeah.
I saw the movie and the whole thing, so I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I will say this. With Sam Raimi directing this, I genuinely think this is going to be a visual masterpiece. The story may be but this visually I think is going to go really well because if you look at the original, look at anything Sam Raimi's done that is like horror and I think he could definitely pull off the horror with Doctor Strange because, well, granted, I think Scott Derrickson was his name. He was the original director of the first one. I think he left because he wanted to go too scary with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and then he left for creative differences, and now we have Sam Raimi, who's not a bad replacement. I would love to see what Sam Raimi does with this, especially with a big budget action movie. Like, don't get me wrong, Spider-Man 2 and 3 were definitely big budget action movies, but this is like the first time he would be under Disney, I think. And I personally cannot wait to see this movie because visually, what little snippets we do see, this looks really good. So,
How much did they spend on the whole movie in total, though?
I think the movie's gonna be like, oh, you're talking about the, oh, okay. All my musical nerds out there, you're gonna be even more happy. Danny Elfman is coming to score Doctor Strange 2.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah, I still so there's no difference in...
Yeah, but that being said, I will say this. Personally, I think that this movie is going to be about 2 hours, 40 minutes, because I can tell, for the most part, what the story is going to be. it's going to be a direct connection to what happened in Spider-Man No Way Home. So I think this is going to be... I think No Way Home is going to be essential viewing before this movie, and I think it is the next Marvel movie we get out. I think it is going to follow it up. At least I believe so. I don't know. But that being said, we of course have Elizabeth Olsen coming in to reprise her role as Scarlet Witch. So that's going to be interesting, especially because they do find this is like going to be the first movie that's going to reference any of the TV shows, and this references WandaVision. So, yeah.
Are they connected though? The TV shows and the fucking.
So
and the
anything
movies?
from WandaVision on, What If is questionable as is, but like all the live action shows have all been connected to the MCU. So Kingpin is in the MCU. Spoilers for Hawkeye. Which granted, I mean, he's like in all the marketing for this finale, so yeah. Which we'll get to how I feel about that later on. But that being said, so like we do have any character that shows up in the Marvel shows has a very good chance of showing up in any of the Marvel movies. Now, do I think that Mobius from Loki is going to show up in any of the movies? If there's going to be any movie that he will show up in, it will be Doctor Strange, but I just don't see it because apparently there's like cameo galore in this movie, so I don't know how much they would put him in here.
Speaking of that, for some reason I heard a rumor that Doctor Strange was part of the
Illuminati.
No, with
the TVA.
Yeah, them.
No, Doctor Strange is the kind of the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, I will say this. Slight spoiler for No Way Home. It's nothing major, but it does lead into Doctor Strange. Technically, because Doctor Strange blipped for 5 years, Wong is now the Sorcerer Supreme under a technicality. So, that means that Strange... And honestly, there's a couple shots in this trailer that show Wong in trouble. And honestly, I don't think Wong's going to make it out of this movie. I think they're going to kill him off.
I hope not.
I hope not. He's a fun character. I don't hope so. I don't hope not as well. But I just feel like I think it's going to be an emotional moment for him to lose Wong. Like I think they're going to have Wong go out with a bang. So I don't know. I'm very nervous for Wong in this movie. But do you guys have any more thoughts, comments, concerns on this trailer? No. Allie. All right.
Yes.
All right. So now I'm just going to say what the release date is and we're going to go on. All right. So be sure to check out the trailer on YouTube. And of course, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness comes out May 6th, 2022. On to our next topic.
You know, I've got to say, it's entertaining as hell watching you speak with your hands while I can't hear a thing.
Oh, yeah, no, I use a lot of hand gestures, so I've actually kind of held back on it, especially with how much I use my hands at work. So I have bursts every now and then. You know, bing, bong. Anyways, that being said, so it's not necessarily official, but there is heavy rumors that Andrew and Toby are going to be getting their own consecutive sequels. Toby will possibly be getting Spider-Man 4, and Andrew will be getting... It is in talks with Amy Pascal at Sony to give him an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Andrew deserves it. He really does. Toby deserves it too. I think Toby deserves to go out on a better note.
He does. I will admit that he deserves better than what he had at the end there.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
It wasn't great.
But Andrew got the short end of the stick.
Oh, well, yeah, and that was really just plagued by bad writing. Like, nothing about those films are visually bad, in my opinion. I still think that the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy has some of the best web-slinging in the entire... out of any Spider-Man movie. Like, they do so much unique things with those. And I would love to bring Mark Webb back, because I think visually, as a director, he is a good director to do a Spider-Man movie. So I personally think... Now, there are a lot of people that are saying that most likely Andrew is going to be Morbius's Spider-Man, which would be interesting. I will say that. Like, that means that Andrew will probably be facing against Venom, because I think that Venom and Morbius take place in the same universe. But that then also means that they have the Daily Bugle logo from Sam Raimi's universe, but yet they also have the Oscorp logo from the Mark Webb's trilogy, or from the Mark Webb movies. So a lot of people are... I'm only going to see Morbius, not because I'm like excited to see the character. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely going to be like some cool action scenes in this movie. I'm interested to see where they take it. Plus, I think this is a far better comic book character.
Back in time for the last bit.
Okay.
Gotta go.
Yeah, no, you're good, buddy. But that being said, I personally believe that this is a far better character for Jared Leto to play than the Joker. Not that I hate his Joker. I think his Joker's okay, but like realistically, the only thing that I hate about his Joker is the damaged forehead tattoo. I don't like the forehead tattoo. Every other tattoo, I was like, okay, that's fine, that's whatever. But the damage is taking it too far. Now you're going into emo territory, and I didn't like that. But
if what I have heard about Leto on the set of that movie says anything.
Well, to be fair, he is a method actor, and I think he was just trying to get into this like frat boy behavior. I don't think he's actually that type of person.
I hope not, because that is...
Yeah.
Ugh.
And to be perfectly fair, I noticed that they were using him a lot for marketing.
Actor. I don't think he is.
No, I don't think... I think if he acted like that on all of his movie sets, then somebody would have come out against him by now. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that he is the lead singer to 30 Seconds to Mars. Yep. Which is interesting to say the least. But yeah, I'm interested in this for sure. I definitely think Andrew deserves a chance, one more chance, at least one more at Spider-Man, because
I want to see him in the suit again.
I want to say so many things, Ali, but you.
Do it. I dare you.
I mean, to be fair, it's like one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood.
What?
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay?
No. One of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood about who shows up in No Way Home.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay,
No,
to be fair, since it is the worst kept secret in the world, of course they're in this fucking movie.
Dude.
Hey. I mean,
The
you
fact
saw
that
it
there wasn't-
coming.
The fact that there wasn't riots in the streets opening night says that they were in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm not going to say exactly when they show up in the movie, but I will say by the time that they do, that's when the movie does start picking up. Like, the first act of this movie is very rough, but, like, when Alfred Molina's Doc Ock gets in, then, yeah, that's when the movie definitely starts to pick up, but as soon as they show up, yeah, it definitely gets better. So... that's like the only spoiler I'm really going to give for No Way Home until next week. If by next week you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, it's your loss. Which, by the way, dear viewers, we are going back to regular schedule next week. So we are going to be doing...
I want to point out I am broke until next Friday. So I don't have the opportunity to see it until after next week.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing it since New Year's Day. I mean, granted, probably everybody's going to be hungover. I won't be because I don't want to drink alcohol, but I've actually been kind of going on alcohol. Yeah, everybody knows why. Yeah, but that being said, everybody except Jared, but Jared, I'll tell you later. But that being said, I personally would love to see Toby get one more shot, but if he doesn't, I definitely think Andrew deserves it the most, especially with what they do with him in No Way Home. Certain things that they do with his character is really well deserved.
I think Toby's 4 should be the start to the next generation for what's his name, fucking Tom.
No, I think they're gonna keep Tom Holland in the MCU, but Sony then, if they don't want to do a joint movie and they want to still have their own franchises, they could do Toby and Andrew. That way we technically get 3 Spider-Man movies possibly every year. Well, every 2 years. Yeah.
That ties into the Spider-Verse itself.
Yeah, it does. And that technically means any Sony movie is technically part of the MCU because now they're a multiverse. So, like, that's actually fascinating. I'm super excited to see what they do with this. And I think it's a missed opportunity if they don't at least give Andrew a shot.
Seriously. They had They oh,
They fucked him over. They really did.
I want it.
Now I will say this: there's a compilation on YouTube of someone took all the times that Andrew Garfield denied that he was in the movie, and they put it into one compilation. And honest to God,
fair, they had to get somebody to make up for Tom Holland and his.
yeah, but like everybody knew, especially whenever he said, "Oh yeah, no, that's photoshopped." That snippet that was going around everywhere. I'm like, that's not photoshopped. There's no way. Now I will say this: it's not the line that you think it was, because a lot of people said, "So wait, you have web blood?" A lot of people think that's what he was saying. It's web combined with another bead word, but like, it's not web blood. Which, by the way, that scene did get a cheer from a few people, including me, in the movie.
Bro, when I was there, bro, you wouldn't believe how many people cheered through the movie.
Oh yeah, there's the first cameo. Hold on, wait.
As soon as it happened, they cheered like there's no tomorrow.
Hold on, wait. I will say this. Okay, so the first cameo. Hint. The first cameo got a humongous cheer out of my ass. And then, of course, I laughed my ass off, but when Norman Osborn says, "I'm something of a scientist myself," my theater clapped. I laughed. I legit laughed. I'm like, ha.
The joke.
Yeah, but everybody else clapped. I heard some people clapping. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool to hear, you know. Now, I will say this. Out of all the effects in the movie that are kind of wonky, the de-aging effect on Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is fucking seamless, man. Oh my God. It's seamless.
That old.
Yeah, no, he's like, the way they did it, don't get me wrong. Okay, to be fair, my grandfather looks a lot like current.
Next subject, though.
Yeah, to be fair, just let me get this last tidbit.
Before we get too far into this conversation, you and Gallo start talking about the movie in detail.
Okay. Anyways, to be fair, whenever showing Alfred Molina, with like the longer hair, kind of like, especially when I saw him in interviews, I'm like, he looks like a lighter skinned version of my grandfather. Like with that curly, long black hair and like. He looked a lot like my granddad. But that being said, of course, we don't know when those movies are coming out, but you will definitely hear it first on here whenever you get the chance and whenever we know what all is going to happen. On to our next topic.
On that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. On to our next topic. We have a new Alexander Skarsgård movie called The Northman, and this is essentially a Conan movie. It's not Conan, but it's essentially Conan.
It's a Conan movie.
It's essentially Conan. It's not Conan. Yeah, it's not Conan, obviously, but it's essentially Conan. I mean, it's Conan. Come on. Like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, cool. So it's a retelling of Conan. How interesting. But that being said, yeah, it's a Viking Conan. Well, to be fair, I think Conan technically has some Vikings in him, doesn't he? In his stuff. Which, by the way, fun fact, Conan is actually a Texas creation. The guy who created Conan is from Texas.
That's a lot.
Yeah. But that being said, this trailer actually looks really fucking dope. I'm not gonna lie. I'm super excited to see this movie. I hope to God it's rated R. Because I don't think you can do a Viking movie well and not make it rated R. Especially a revenge tale. Like, come on, man. This movie is gonna be bloody violent. And I hope to God it's horny too.
I think some people are saying that it's going somewhat similar to
Vikings.
Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet, really? It's
or something like that. No, Hamilton.
Hamlet. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, kinda. That's why I say it's technically more Conan than it is Hamlet, but I definitely see the Hamlet vibes.
I think it's possible to do a Viking movie that isn't rated R, but it'd be difficult.
It would.
Definitely not a revenge story set in a Viking setting.
No. I think this movie is going to be.
You do not want to piss off. You do not want to piss off one of them.
No. I think this movie is going to be bloody violent and very, very full of tits. I'm not gonna lie. Now, granted, do I want to see Anya Taylor? Do I want to see Anya Taylor-Joy naked? No, not necessarily. Not that she isn't attractive. It's more like I remember her as a kid. So it's kind of like in Game of Thrones when you see Arya Stark naked. Like, Well, she was an actor like before she became 18. So like it's kind of like whenever you see Arya in season 8 of Game of Thrones when she gets naked and actually screws somebody, I'm like, I feel very uncomfortable with this, you know?
Yeah.
Because you kind of grew up like you watched her grow up, and don't get me wrong, she's a very attractive woman, but like,
You know, you guys know you guys want to see the abs and the long johns. And
oh
everything like that,
yeah, no, if Alexander Skarsgård isn't, if his particular axe doesn't swing low, and it doesn't wobble to and throw, then I'm going to be very disappointed.
No, something I'm hoping for is I want Berserker Brew to be a part of this.
Oh yeah, if there's not a Berserker rage, yeah.
It is a Viking story with revenge motives in it. I need a Berserker.
I actually don't know if this is going to be a loose adaptation of that. I don't know if it's going to be a loose adaptation of that. That would make a lot of sense. But, yeah, no, I'm super pumped for this movie, especially because of all the Viking imagery, and it looks like it's going to have some pretty trippy moments as well. So I'm excited about that, because it looks like there is a sorceress in this movie as well. Like I said, essentially a Conan ripoff, but I think it's gonna be close enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to see another Conan movie. Conan would be awesome to see on screen again. Because love or hate the Jason Momoa version. I mean, it wasn't that great. And don't get me wrong, the Arnold Schwarzenegger version isn't that great either. It's awesome, but it's not great. You know,
Arnold Schwarzenegger did a good job.
Thank you, sir. Can I push wheel now? What is your obsession with that wheel? I don't know.
To be fair, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan came from an era where they were still trying to get the formula for that sort of movie right.
It's somewhat fair.
And
Kram.
to be fair, they're still working on that.
Yeah. No, I love the Nostalgia Critics review of that, where he's like, Kram, I pray to you. I do not want to see a girl toy in my Happy Meal. If there is a girl toy, the hell with you. I pray that there is a boy toy in this set. And it's like, or it's like, oh yeah, it's like, I do not want the chipette, I just want Alvin. And if not, the hell with you. And he takes it out, and there's like a chipette, and he's like, the hell with you. And I'm like, that was pretty fucking funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I hope somebody needs to tag Doug Walker's just with all the Nostalgia Critic references.
Oh my god, I could make so many. I've seen almost every single one of his videos. I've seen all of his Channel Awesome specials as well. Mm-hmm. They're pretty good. Kikassia is hilarious in my opinion.
Yeah,
To Boldly Flee is really funny.
It really
It's just overly long. Anyways, that being said, any more thoughts, comments, concerns on the Northman trailer?
Unbridled excitement.
Fair enough. All right, now on to a controversial topic. I know, prepare yourself. I don't either, but we're going to be talking about it. All right, so sad news ahead for those who are Punisher fans. It's official. Apparently, they are going to be changing the controversial skull logo for the Punisher in the Marvel Comics. Now, I don't know if that's going to translate into the MCU or not, but I don't know, man. The skull is so synonymous with this character. I don't think you can change it and do a good thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
It has been the Punisher symbol, as far as I'm aware, for as long as the character's existed.
Yeah, and the fact that he's a Marine, or I think there's yeah, I think they're rebooting his comic, and I don't know, man. I think Punisher doesn't. If you're gonna reboot him, that's fine. Because I mean, he's been in Vietnam, he's been in World War II, he's been in fucking Korea, he's been in Afghanistan, he's been in freaking what's the other one? He's been in like yeah. There's been multiple versions of Frank Castle, and like, I mean, there's been points where he was an army guy, he was a Marine. Now, granted, since they made him a Marine, they've kind of kept him a Marine, so I give him benefit of the doubt on that. But, like, honest to God, I mean, you know, you can't just change that and not piss off 90% of Punisher fans.
Well,
you know?
Okay. I think part of the issue is we've had a lot of very, very stupid people latch onto that symbol for the wrong reason.
I can agree with that.
And that is as much detail as I can go into without getting into politics and all that.
That is fair. I appreciate you not trying to get into politics, but I will say this: stupid people taking advantage of it. To be fair, stupid people have taken advantage of the skull symbol forever. It's kind of like the Guy Fawkes thing. You know, yeah, it's pretty synonymous with like stupid shit and all the wrong reasons. But like, you know, you can like the Guy Fawkes mask and not be a freaking, you know, cyber terrorist or whatever. Like, there's,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
I don't know, man.
it would also depend on how they're changing it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Is like
pictures of it.
the new logo.
I've seen a picture of the new symbol. It's more like imagine the what's the symbol I'm thinking of? Fucking. It starts with the M. He's a fucking baby Google's what's his father figure? What's his name?
Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Imagine the Mandalorian symbol, but instead of the way the skull looks, is a regular human skull. With the horns going to the sides, up and down like that with the skull.
I'm not sure how to feel about this.
I'm not
think
either.
would
It sounds badass. Don't get me wrong, especially because
Basically, it's the Mandalorian signal. It's the Mandalorian with the horns like that.
yeah, the horns of Mandalore. I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Basically.
Give me a minute. Let me.
that's not half bad though. Like, honest to God.
That's what they want to put it as. But I doubt they would do it because they're gonna piss off 90% of faithful comic book nerds.
Well, to be fair, that's not a bad logo change.
That actually looks pretty badass.
Hold on,
Like
let me
that
look it
looks-
up. Okay, no, yeah, that actually looks badass. That actually looks pretty fucking cool. For those of you that want to see
yeah,
it.
but he looks like a full blown. He's gonna be looking like a
Teddy.
samurai in this comic.
So
Teddy!
here's where we need to address the other. Here's where we need to address the other side of the fandom.
Move it backwards a little bit.
If I move it backwards, it's gonna blur it out.
Blur real quick.
Turn off your blur.
Hold on. I gotta exit full screen on this in order to do that.
I got it on my phone right here. Honestly, that kind of looks sick. If I can get that on the t-shirt, I will.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that does look pretty sick.
Here's where we need to address the other side of the fandom. The ones who are going to see this and just hold on to the old skull symbol. Changes happen. We have seen it throughout the history of comics.
Yeah, but like he's one of the few Punisher symbols. Like the Punisher symbol is essentially, it's one of the few symbols that has really not changed. Like it's been tweaked, but it's never been fully changed to this. Which, by the way, if you want to see what it looks like, that's what the character looks like in the comics.
Yeah, he's supposed to look like a full blown samurai, bro.
I am okay with this too, but like, if they keep that as the whole thing, I mean, they're essentially making him Batman, and that's my problem with that. Is I don't want him to basically become Marvel's Batman, because, to be fair, that's essentially Moon Knight. To be fair,
Yeah,
Marvel's Batman is Moon Knight, you know?
With a bit of with a bit of extra insanity added into it.
Exactly.
But part of how things are gonna work out depends on how Marvel handles this.
That's true too.
Right now, they have just unveiled the new design, and that's okay.
It's a decent design.
Moving forward, they're going to need to be very careful about putting the design into motion, because there are a lot of old school fans who are not okay with change at all,
It's true.
and they are the ones that are going to dig in their feet the most.
The DC fandom found out that one of the characters, like these Superman characters, is gay or bisexual, whatever you want.
Oh,
to call it.
yeah, Superboy.
Okay.
It's not Superman, it's Superboy. It's fucking Clark's son.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my god, it's Superman is gay. I'm like,
Well, and
became-
this is exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
This is
he
exactly what I'm talking
gained
about.
the, it's kind of like Dick Grayson eventually became Batman. I mean, he gains the title, but like it's not like they're completely destroying the original. They're not doing what Disney did to the extended universe of Star Wars. They're not completely wiping it all out. There's different continuity. Look at the New 52. The New 52 was hated and then they eventually changed it. Now, to be fair, I actually like the costume designs in New 52. You can fucking fight me over that. I think the costume designs are not half bad. The storylines, fucking bullshit. But the costume designs, not god-awful. You can fight me on that.
If they can provide a good reason for just the overall look change in the comics, I think it'll go over fine.
Oh, I agree, 100%.
If they just do it without any kind of explanation whatsoever,
yeah,
that's where we're going to run into problems.
I also agree on that, yeah. All right. Well, any more thoughts, comments, concerns on this new logo? Which, honestly, now seeing it, not half bad. I think it's a pretty decent logo. I would want to get that on a shirt. I'm not even going to lie. That's a pretty badass logo. Like, if you're going to change it, fine, but, like, at least you kept it badass like that. I don't know what it is about angular logos with, like, pointy ends. It just looks badass. I don't know what it is. Like, angular fucking pointy end logos look fucking phenomenal. I don't know, man. That's like kind of my whole thing. But any more thoughts, comments, concerns on this new logo for the Punisher?
Let's see where it goes.
I agree. All right.
What we can do is see how he's out for the episode Marvel.
Yeah. All right. On to our next topic. And Allie, I know you're excited about this one. So, The Legend of Vox Machina is coming out on Amazon Prime. It is a... I'm going to let Allie explain this because I don't really know all that much about it. Allie, go right ahead.
So, Legends of Vox Machina is a Critical Role thing. Critical Role is, I would say, it's what put D&D into the position where it is today.
Yes.
It is a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors. This is Matt Mercer's words himself.
Yeah. If Stephen Blum is not in there, I'm pissed.
So, you've got Matthew Mercer, Marisha Ray, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Sam Riegel, Liam O'Brien. Like, a lot of big-name voice actors who got together and just started playing D&D in Matthew Mercer's house. In his front room. And what the Legends of Vox Machina is, it's basically the story of how these characters got together before the very first aired episode of Critical Role. And from what I understand, the first two episodes are basically going to be tackling them getting together and actually working together, leading up to one of the big arcs in Critical Role.
Fair enough.
It is something that the Critical Role fandom has been excited for years. They kickstarted it. It was funded, I swear, almost immediately because it's us.
Yeah, it's Critical Role and it's D&D. Come on, man. Yeah, and I'm glad that Amazon Prime picked it up. That's a good that's a good mediocre, not mediocre, but like good medium to put on because almost everybody I know has Amazon Prime if they get shit from Amazon. I mean, shit, I got it for The Boys. And don't get me wrong, Invincible's a really good one too. But like most of their originals, like The Tick was really good. I love The Tick. I love The Tick. The Tick is fantastic. That was one of the ones that really got me on Amazon Prime. And then they came out with The Boys. I gave it a shot. I loved it. And then The Boys season 2 came out, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you gotta watch Invincible." I was like, I don't know. And then I finally sat down and watched it. I'm like, oh, no, this is actually pretty fucking good. I
like the series. I prefer the comic.
Oh no, I heard the comic gets way worse. Like
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Like I heard the comic is basically The Boys on like fucking steroids with how fucked up it gets. Like I heard the comic gets super fucking bloody. Don't get me wrong, this show got really bloody, but yeah. Back onto Legend of Vox Machina.
Masker scene with the laser eyes?
Oh my god, the masker scene with laser eyes. No, I'm talking about Invincible. Don't get me wrong, The Boys definitely had some good ass shots in there too. They definitely had some fucked up moments, especially with the giant extendable dick.
Oh, what the fuck?
That was in season 2, bro. This guy had an extendable dick.
I have not seen. I wanted to see it, but I don't like. I'm not a big fan of live action superhero movies.
It's not a superhero movie. It's a show, and on top of that, it's a very bloody, violent action show. And then on top of that, it's essentially making fun of modern day superheroes.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a love letter to it too, but like,
It's a love-hate letter. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's essentially what what's the movie I always say is a love-hate letter to horror movies. Cabin in the Woods is a love-hate letter to horror movies. That's essentially what The Boys is for superhero movies. It's a love-hate letter. That's the best example I can come up with.
Anyway, I know I personally am ecstatic about this.
I'm interested to watch it just because I know that D&D shows in the past have not done well, especially the one from the 80s, which I've seen a couple episodes. It's entertaining, to say the least. You definitely need a little bit more of a particular substance in order to really enjoy it. But,
but this definitely has the following it needs to succeed. It
has a very similar animation style to, just by the stills I've seen. I haven't really watched the trailer, but it definitely has a similar Castlevania vibe to it, which I super enjoy.
The people behind it are behind it 100%. It is definitely a work of love. The people who are doing this are doing it not just because it's a good way to get things done, but it's because they love everything about what they're doing.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Well, and with all the big name voice actors, it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I also agree on that. I will say this. I'm not the biggest D&D fan. I'm slowly getting into it. Slowly getting into it. Those that are about to kill me in the comments. Even though we're live and I'm the only one watching, still, those that are going to comment further on, slowly getting into it. Do not kill me just yet. But
I think of everybody in the stream right now. I might be the biggest D&D nerd.
Fair enough.
I'm not a big old D&D person.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. I don't play D&D because you have to do math, and I'm not willing to commit to doing math like that.
Not that big of math, though. It's mostly addition. Addition and subtraction. Go ahead, Jared.
I remember I bought back in high school like several like pouches of dice and whatever, but I never got around to actually like hanging out with anybody to do it. He's bringing out the dice.
They're blue dice. Hold on, wait, because Faye might be watching. Allie knows what I'm about to do. Teddy even knows what I'm about to do. Welcome back to Black Chef 56 ASMR. Today we're going to be dealing with dice. Yeah.
To a certain point in time.
About an hour and 32 minutes.
An hour and 32 minutes? Alright. I'm going to tell her to log on to the link tomorrow, maybe, and be like, listen, go to an hour and 31 minutes.
I'm already way ahead of you, bro. Okay, anyways, Allie, continue to nerd over this while I do whatever I'm doing.
No, I'm sitting here like one big bag of dice.
Mm-hmm.
3 individual sets, 2 of which are metal.
Oh, I want some metal dice. They're just expensive as shit.
One set in a case they're also metal. I've got my big bag somewhere around here. It's hiding from me, I swear. I've been playing D&D and D&D-esque games for years now. I have DM'd for a few years. I have played a variety of roles. I'm a nerd.
Yeah. All right.
Heck, the weeks I'm not here, I'm actually in a D&D game.
That she is. And let me know whenever you're ready to talk about what you wanted to talk about whenever we're live.
I will message you the moment we get that started.
Absolutely. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. I got you.
But I'm in multiple games weekly. Like this is a part of my identity now.
Fair enough. And D&D is an addiction. Like, as much as I hate the Christians that bash D&D, they got one thing right. It is kind of addicting. It's not going to kill you, but, like, it is kind of addicting.
It's a good addiction.
It's a good addiction. It's a fun hobby.
It is a social storytelling game.
Yeah, it's far more healthy than my other hobby that I have, which is smoking cigars and pipes. Like,
And I was gonna say, porn isn't really addiction. Oh, it is an addiction.
And
Yeah.
I feel that Legends of Vox Machina is the same way Critical Role was a good way for people who aren't familiar with it to actually
get into D&D.
Yes.
I agree. It's kind of like Castlevania. While I never played the games, I knew what they were. Whenever I watched that show, I was like, oh, okay, I actually kind of want to play the games now. Now, granted, those games are hard as fuck to find. Like, on the Switch alone, like, they only have, like, the non-side-scroller ones, and I'm like, why, though? Even in their NES and their Super NES little thing that you can get, they don't have it on there. They do have Metroid, though, so I was like, okay, I'm going to give Metroid a shot. I got, like, 5 minutes in, and I can't get out. Anyways.
I honestly think Legends of Vox Machina, it's gonna appeal to the people who know the podcast exists, but for one reason or another can't listen to it because they can't picture it. It's gonna be great for those people who need that visual representation.
They need the visual representation instead of just the audio. There was a show, I forget, I think it was on TBS. They actually added animation into, like, whenever they did the live recording thing, and they would cut back and forth, like, to the live action actual recording, and then they would add the animation on top of it.
Now, I will say that...
It has Justin Roiland in it.
That would be the Adventure Zone. And I was actually about to mention that.
Yeah.
Critical Role is not the only D&D podcast out there. There are many, 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 many. The Adventure Zone is another good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going through and listening to a bunch of campaigns through as the year starts and as the year continues because I'm going to have time.
Fair enough.
And I will at one point be making a personal list of my favorites.
Okay.
That I'm more than happy to share.
Hey, if you want to see my first campaign, I'll send the link in the server if you want to see how bad I messed up in my first game.
Whew. Yeah, no, be sure to do
We've all
that.
been there.
Yeah. Sorry about that. If I looked like I was dying, I kind of was. I've been fighting an illness lately.
Let's put it this way. In my game, I was supposed to save
Not COVID.
5 war. Instead, I destroyed 4 instead of saving.
Hey,
So,
Teddy, I love you to death, buddy. If I hear that story one more time, I'm going to kill you.
As a DM,
It's funny,
I have to say,
but
that is not out of the ordinary.
yeah, it's funny. Don't get me wrong, Teddy. It's hilarious. The first 2 times. Then when you hear it like 5 or 6. Oh yeah, that's fine. All right, but any more thoughts, comments, concerns on the Legend of Vox Machina?
No,
I want to go on, but we don't have time for that.
Is it a show to watch? Wait, is it a movie or a show?
It's a show.
It's going to be a show.
Alright, it's gonna be a good show to watch.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So
So, be sure to check out the Legend of Vox Machina on January 28th, 2022 on Amazon Prime.
so close.
I know, right? Only a month away. But that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into our final topic for the night. Hawkeye Season 1, Episode 6, a.k.a. the finale, also called So This Is Christmas. And okay. Major spoilers, even though it's been out for like 2 days. Fucking Kingpin shows up, and it is Vincent D'Onofrio, and I am so fucking excited that he's finally in the MCU. And they do kind of make him a little
hesitate.
No, I didn't even hesitate at all. Fuck you.
No.
If you
I'm
don't
saying
know,
the show.
Oh
the
no,
show
the
didn't
show.
even hesitate the minute the show started.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
the minute the first episode starts, you just see like it just literally it pans up, and you see him like have the pimp cane. There's also a reference to Family Business where he's wearing the red and white Hawaiian shirt. Which, granted, every time I saw that, I thought of Grandpa Max from Ben 10. I'm sorry. Because it's essentially Grandpa Max's shirt from Ben 10. But that being said, I will say
I think
this.
they could have made it bigger.
They could have definitely made him bigger, but I think they would have required him to go into a fat suit, and I know how difficult it is to work in fat suits.
Well, especially with the amount of movement he did.
Oh, yeah, especially with the amount of movement he did. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of wire work, too, because he was, like, flipping around. But I will say this. It was super intimidating to see him just rip a fucking car door off. I'm like, okay, so this is probably a different version, more comic accurate of Kingpin, which I think he is human. He's not a mutant, or he doesn't have any special powers in the comics. He's just, like, pure muscle. That's why he's so big. And that's why it's hard as shit to knock him out. So, like, I think that's what they're going for. No, he's just a regular human. He just has a shit ton of muscle.
He's just built.
He's just built. You know, he's a chunky boy. That being said, it was super cool also to see him, like, just take a fucking arrow to the chest, like, to the sternum, and he just goes...
And then just break it off.
Yeah, I'm like, shit. Now, will I say this? I will say this. Do I think Kate Bishop should have fought Kingpin? No. I think it should have been Clint Barton. That would have been cooler.
Yes.
However, that being said, it was a very important moment for Kate Bishop to kind of prove herself, so I give them benefit of the doubt. Also, I don't necessarily like the overbuilt conflict between Yelena and Clint when it's really all it takes is one simple fucking conversation to tell him, like, hey...
One fucking whistle.
Yeah, or one fucking whistle.
That was not a simple conversation.
Okay, but it still could have been a comper fucking station.
Okay.
Yeah. He could have literally led with the whistle.
Yeah.
That's
This
it.
is a grieving... Okay, hold on.
Hold on, we're about to piss off Allie.
This is a grieving sibling to a traumatized friend of the same person.
Fair enough.
These are two people suffering from the same loss in two very different ways, and trying to come somewhere in the middle.
Fair enough.
And I fully believe that the whistle was a last-ditch effort to get Yelena to understand. That's why it took so long. That was Clint Barton. Like, this is the last card I have.
Okay, to be fair, they could have written it a little better. Instead of just having her pop up in episode, what was it, 4? Yeah, it was episode 4 is when she pops up. I'm like, okay, she should have been like an episode 2 or 3 kind of thing. Or at the very least 3.
They could have seeded it better.
Yeah, like the same thing with Kingpin. I was also pissed that they waited till the last fucking episode to do it. And then make it seem like they killed him off. To be fair, for those few dear viewers that are actually pissed off about that, I was pissed off too. And then I watched a few videos. There is an exact comic thing. Now, that doesn't give it a benefit. That doesn't give it a break. But there is an exact comic panel where Echo does shoot Kingpin in the face. And then he comes back and he's blind. And then he eventually gets like an eye transplant. So I don't think he's dead.
It made me upset with the Killing Joke type shit. Where the fucking screen pans off from the shot.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to kill off Echo because she's getting her own show. So, and then on top of that, they wouldn't just kill off Vincent D'Onofrio. Especially to show how hard it is to kill him. Yeah, I don't think it would take a simple gunshot to the face. Now, do I think it will blind him like they did in the comics? Yes. I agree. Now, people are giving it a break because of that. They're like, oh my god, that's bullshit. Oh wait, it's from the comics? Okay, then it's fine. Don't necessarily do that, because if you still feel cheated, then just because it's a comic thing doesn't mean that it's done well. It's not translated well to the screen. So I give it benefit of the doubt, like, okay, they are being comic accurate. Fair. However, as a show and a person who did not know about that until later on, I was stupid pissed. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It did. And like, especially because they waited to the last episode to fucking actually have him show up, and then he doesn't really show up much beyond the beginning and the end. That's it. And that's an hour-long episode. Like, that's a lot of time that you could have been showing him doing shit. This just felt like, oh, this is fan service. Here you go. It's like, okay, cool, I like that, but like, do it better. Like, if you're gonna introduce him, maybe introduce him to like the last third of the last episode, which they kind of did. But I'm saying, like, actually have him on screen. Don't have a blurry fucking camera. So like,
all that being said,
I still think that it should have been one more episode. Oh, hi, Faye.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
All that being said,
yeah, we're talking about
I
Hawkeye.
liked the episode.
Oh no, I love the show. The show's good. It's just they kind of didn't do Kingpin all that well. So that's my only big gripe. Other than that, it's fine. It's a good episode.
This is a good episode to see how far Kate Bishop has grown.
That's true. How far her and Clint. Has grown.
how far their relationship has developed. The fact that he actually straight up called her his partner.
Oh yeah, that was the best
big.
part. That was a big
Seeing the LARPers come out in the armor.
That was funny, but it also
was
kind of didn't make
so
sense.
good.
It's like, okay, these people could have been dying in the time that it took you guys to go change clothes. Now, granted,
Yeah.
I get it, because then if they saw people as like, oh, they must be superheroes, we're going to pay attention to them, not just regular people. But I still think it would have been more fulfilling if they wore, like, I think one of them's an EMT. I know a couple of them are cops. I know a few of them are firefighters. That would have been better, in my opinion. It would have hit harder. Been like, oh, okay, we're actually going to let regular people help these people out, not just LARPers. Don't get me wrong, it was funny, and it made sense. But, like, I think if they would have had, like, their cop uniform, their medic uniform, all that fun stuff, I think people would have paid attention to them better. And it would have been a nice sentimentality, especially with what everything is going on. I think it would have been a good way to pay respect to our everyday heroes.
Yeah.
That would have been
Jack
nice.
redeemed himself, in my eyes.
Yes and no. I think they made it seem like he was just going to be this big bad that's playing dumb, you know, kind of drunken master kind of style. And then they just make him a bundling, you know, a lovable bundling idiot, but a bundling idiot nonetheless. So I was like,
No, he's still not all there in the brains department, but
yeah. I was
he,
like, okay.
he really stepped up.
Yeah, no, I like him now,
The
but
I
like,
liked the most was the friend. I didn't like the friend. The friend of the Echo. I thought
oh,
he was more of
him?
a-
Yeah, honestly, and here's the thing, I didn't
him
feel
the
for
bad guy,
Echo.
He was more of a fucking dick.
Well, and that's kind of the point of his character, but like honestly, I don't know, man. I didn't feel for Echo in this episode. The last time I felt for Echo was like episode 3, the beginning. Then from beyond that, I was like, oh, I kind of don't care anymore. You know, I'm like, okay, this is a cool character. You can do a lot with her. However, you're not doing all that. So that's kind of my whole thing about this episode. It's a good episode. It's a good show. I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely top tier out of all the shit that we've gotten in 2021 from Marvel. However, I think Loki beats it just a little bit.
Loki beats it just a little bit. I think
Just
Loki
by a
beats it by
smidge.
lot.
To be fair,
A lot.
I enjoyed Loki a lot more.
There's been a lot that has happened
Yeah.
in the year that has taken place in the real world.
Yeah.
A lot of that is going to have an effect on the writing, the producing, just everything that goes into one of these shows.
Which, by the way, those for you timeline nerds, it's never confirmed in the show, but this takes place 2 years after No Way Home. No, after
What?
No Way Home. It takes place in
Really?
2025. No Way Home takes place in 2023. Because
Oh.
Far From
I do
Home
feel-
was the summer of after the snap. And then No Way Home is the December after the snap. But in the show, they actually they do say that the Ronin's been gone for years. No one's been to the Avengers facility in years. Plural, not 1 year, years. So and there was also a set photo. Now, granted, they blocked it off in the show, like it was covered up by boxes. You just see 20, but it said 2025 in the set photo that was released. So that's why a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, we're gonna see Spidey swing around on the Rockefeller Center." It's like, no, you're not. No, that's not gonna happen. That would distract way too much from the show. But I will say this: Kate and Clint, best part of the show, 100%. Also, the trick arrows was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tony called it. Yeah.
I do feel that Eleanor has earned the title of Bitch of the Year.
Not necessarily. I think she.
I'm sorry, guilt tripping her daughter guilt tripping Kate the way she did.
Fair enough. That is fair. Now, I know that she's supposed to be Madame Mask. At least they're hinting at it. But I still think the whole, like, oh, she got wrapped up in this. I think that's a lie. I really think... I genuinely think she planned a lot of this. And then she decided... she's like, oh... Now, I will say this. I do believe her quitting because they're starting to go after her daughter. I do agree on that. Like, that makes sense because, okay, mother and daughter. But, like... I still don't think that she got wrapped up into it. I think that was a lie.
We've seen she is very good at manipulating situations to where she seems more innocent than she actually is.
Is this what heroes do? Arrest their own mothers on Christmas? I'm like, oh, shut up, bitch. You're going to jail.
That's what I said. I was like, shut the fuck up.
I was like, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck
That
up.
and her bringing up Natasha to Clint back when they first met. those are the moments that really
Yeah.
cemented her as, I don't like you at all.
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that. But any more thoughts, comments, concerns on the Hawkeye finale?
I do like Kate coming to spend Christmas with Clint
I
and
think
his
he's.
family.
I think she's living with them now.
I think so. I think this
Yeah.
is a good way for.
Because he had said like towards the end of the season.
I brought home
like,
2
I
strays.
brought home 2 strays.
Yeah.
It is a good way for her to move past everything that happened in this season, and a good way to
Yeah.
just kind of pick up wherever in this when the second season picks up.
I will say this: I did like the whole like, what about Lady Hawk? She's like coming up with like all these different names. I was like, okay, that's funny. And I legit thought what they were gonna do was he was gonna go, I got a better idea. How about Kate Bishop? I thought that's what he was gonna say, but then it just cuts to the title card. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. Also, I was still seething from the fact that I thought they killed off Kingpin. So when they did the whole, I'm like, you better show a post-credit scene of like him in the fucking hospital bed. I swear to God. And then they show the freaking the musical number, which I was like, okay, it was fine, but I'm like,
It was fine. I didn't see a reason for it.
no, I didn't either. They were like, oh, Merry Christmas from Marvel. I'm like, I don't give a dick. It was a funny joke in the first episode. Shut up. The fact that everyone's like, oh my God, it's the best musical number. I'm like, it's essentially a Hamilton ripoff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You can shut the fuck
It
up
really
about it.
is.
It is catchy. I will give you that. But it's also very gimmicky, and they know that, and you fucking fell for it, you fucking sheep.
And we all know that Steve Rogers would have hated it.
Oh, yeah.
He would fucking do that.
As soon as he would have seen his like character come out and say, I can do this all. Dad, he'd be like, nope. He just walk
Shutting
off.
this down.
Yeah, it's like, nope, I'm out.
But
Yeah.
that as a post-credit scene was kind of a letdown for me.
Yeah, and I was expecting another one. I'm like, oh, okay, fuck you. I was
Same.
like, fuck you. You fucking assholes. Fuck you.
Like this was the
this is the finale.
this is
You
the
could have
thing.
at least like hinted at, oh yeah, Kingpin's alive.
hinted at something from a
Yeah.
future thing, from a future series, from the next season. It's just something.
Yeah.
And you gave us the freaking musical number.
Which was fine. I didn't necessarily hate it. But as a person that actually watched Hamilton and relatively enjoyed it, I was like, oh, cool, it's a Marvel ripoff of Hamilton.
I like Hamilton, but I didn't enjoy the musical scene.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is going on a little too long. I get you're doing the whole musical number because you released it on Spotify the same day the episode came out, and fuck you for doing that. Because every single musical theater nerd creamed their fucking pants as soon as that song hit, and they're like, oh my god. I'm like, fuck off. It's a fucking side gag. Shut up.
They had so many things they could have done with that post-credit scene, and okay, a musical number. Okay, fine, do it, but give us something
Oh, yeah.
in
I
addition to
agree.
that. Give the people that little bit of fun, but give those of us who want something substantial.
Yeah, like, okay, you could have still done the musical number, and then at the end of the credits been like, oh yeah, by the way, it was like, how the hell would he survive something like this? It's like, I don't know, but apparently I can't even get a needle through his skin. And then you pan over to Kingpin with like bandages on his eyes. That would have been something, you know. Yeah, would it have been cliche as shit? Absolutely, it would have been. But like, I still would have liked it.
Yeah,
I'd been like, okay, cool. So they didn't fucking kill off one of my favorite villains of Marvel's history. Okay.
one of the biggest villain of Marvel history.
Yeah, he has so many connections to different heroes. Like he does have connections to Hawkeye. He has a lot of connections to Spider-Man and Daredevil. Shit, he even has connections to like Tony Stark and shit.
Like he is.
Yeah.
He is the Kingpin of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Hence the reason they call him Kingpin. But yeah. But any more thoughts, comments, concerns on the finale of Hawkeye?
Despite my griping, I did love the shit out of it.
I agree. Yeah, despite my gripes, which are pretty major gripes from me.
Yeah.
Especially because like you're hinting and hinting and hinting, and then at the end of episode 5, you show Vincent D'Onofrio in a grainy photo, and I actually cheered in my fucking car. I screamed like a fucking madman. I actually had one of my coworkers come out and be like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I just saw something really cool. Leave me alone." And then you have him show up in this episode, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, that's awesome. You know, I was like, yeah. And then they kept showing. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's like super fucking cool. I was like, holy shit, he tore off a car door. Awesome. And then it kept going. I'm like,
I said it last night. I'll say it again. Them putting the trick arrows together.
That was one of the best scenes. I will
He
agree.
pulled the door off. He screamed like a little boy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching Kate use the just
The pin
using
tech
all
arrow.
the
That was the
Pimtech arrow.
funniest.
Just the way she used all the arrows.
Yeah.
To
I
her
will say
advantage.
this. That was one of my favorite sight gags where it's like, at first I thought they killed off the owl. I was like, really? Huh? I mean, it was a cute owl. I don't think they're going to kill it off. And then when they show the car shrinking, I'm like, okay, no, the owl's going to come back. And she's like, so what now? And you go, I don't know. I'd have to ask Scott on that one. And it's like, okay, well, there goes that question. Yeah. And you just get...
Never mind.
Sounds like the Evil Dead hand.
Was the owl significant in something or no?
No, I think it was just a cute animal. And I was like, okay, cool.
I think it was just a little cute thing just for the people.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's what it was. But any more thoughts, comments, concerns on Hawkeye, the finale?
I really hope they come out with the second season, bro.
I think they are going to come out with a second season for sure. If not a movie, I would actually love to see a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chad, I swear, at some point, you and I just need to get together and do a thing where we just take these things apart.
The
way we talk about it.
That would be a lot of fun. I could see that working. Freaking Faye over here is just like, oh dear God, what have we created?
Yeah, that's exactly my thought process. Is,
Yeah.
oh no.
What have I done?
Just don't know.
Yeah. What have we done?
You know that I have gotten excited for every episode.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. So I will say this. Again, despite my gripes, it was still a good show. I still had a lot of fun watching it. I look forward to a season 2 or maybe a movie.
It was a good way to treat my favorite of the Avengers.
Well, and they also humanized him a little bit, and better than any MCU movie has. Like the closest they came to it was Age of Ultron, but like that was just kind of making him the butt of a joke.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
this has brought him to where I feel he needs to be. Like, this is why he is my favorite of the Avengers, because he is the most human of them.
That being said, does it slightly piss me off that they're finally doing this, but also introducing his successor? Yeah,
a little bit.
Don't get me wrong. I love Haley Steinfeld as Kate.
She is great.
She's great. She's a great addition. Which is kind of weird though, because she also voices Spider-Gwen in the Into the Spider-Verse movies, so that's gonna be interesting to do. Anyways, yeah. That being said, we're gonna go ahead and go into SnodaQuicks. All right, so Jared, to give you a little bit of heads up, SnodaQuicks has replaced Movie Talks, which it's essentially the same thing. We're just going to talk about whatever topic we want to talk about, whether it's new, old, current one that we talked about this week you want to further elaborate on, etc., etc. So since you are a returning member, and it's been too long, what topic would you like to bring up?
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I didn't have any in mind.
All right. Anybody got one?
I got nothing. Wait, no, I do, but I don't know if you guys want to talk about it because we've been talking about nothing but Marvel.
That's fair. Yeah. I do have some decent news. While granted, I am still getting over a sickness. I do plan on picking back up on my YouTube channel. So it's more of a shameless plug, not necessarily good news, but good news for me. I am planning on getting back to reviews, like doing voice recordings and shit like that. If you can't tell, I do sound sick because I have been coughing for the past 3 days and sneezing for the past 2. But I've been taking days. It's not corona. Shut up. It's like basically severe allergies is all it is. It's nothing too major. It might lead to pneumonia. I don't know.
It doesn't help the weather's just gone freaking insane.
Oh yeah, Texas weather is a bipolar bitch. To put it lightly, to put it very lightly. But that being said, I do plan on getting back into it. I plan on starting up again with the Marvel reviews so I can catch up to No Way Home, which means I still have Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, which that one's going to be interesting to do. I still have Avengers Endgame, and then, of course, technically I got to talk about Black Widow Eternals, but I haven't seen Eternals, so I probably might skip it. Yeah, I haven't seen Eternals. I barely finished Black Widow. Like, I know how it ends, so I don't necessarily need to. And then, of course, like, I can definitely start with the shows like WandaVision. I actually have the intros planned out for WandaVision, Loki, and all that. So I'm super excited, super pumped to talk about that for sure. The Falcon and Winter Soldier one, I have my gripes with Falcon and Winter Soldier, particularly with one scene and then one character. If you've heard my thought processes before, it should not surprise you.
Wasn't into it.
I was into it. It was cool. It definitely made me realize the importance of the shield. Not that I didn't before, but like it definitely hit it home for me. I was like, oh, okay,
Well, don't get
I
me
understand.
wrong. I watched the movie. I watched the whole show. I did.
Yeah.
My only problem with the whole show was it was just I don't know. It just
The
threw
villain
me
was
off for-
too
that's all it
weak,
is.
in my opinion. The villain was way too weak, and also very wishy-washy. There's moments where it's like, okay, she's a very sympathetic villain, and then there's moments where she's like smiling before she kills somebody. And it's like you can't really do that all that well. And I mean, it's easy. It's a thing that you can pull off. However, it is very difficult without the right actor or actress, and also without the right writing. So that's kind of my biggest gripe, is the villain isn't the best in the show. Also, you can clearly tell there was a storyline that they had planned out, and it didn't, they had to cut it out. I think it was a viral, instead of like it being like, oh, they want to bring it back, like there's apparently was a virus. I think they cut that storyline out because of all the stuff that happened whenever that show did come out. So they cut it out and reshot a lot of stuff. My biggest gripe, the one scene, was the "you should do better, Senator," and it's like, okay, that is some of the biggest SJW shit I've ever heard. It's basically the millennial way of, I don't like this, you should change it. Well, do you have any ideas? Fuck no, but if you don't figure it out, I'm gonna hate you. You know, like, that's essentially that argument. That is what that argument was. And they treat it like it's, oh, some big thing. It's like, oh my god, he said you should do better. And it's like, okay, elaborate, my guy. You're a good actor. You can elaborate on this. And it's just like, you know, it goes a little too for
a
me.
large part of that could have just been the writing.
Oh no, I definitely feel like this show had it had decent writing, but it wasn't great writing. Like it wasn't top tier MCU, but like the actors hold it together for the most part. And then some of the plot twists were pretty cool. Other than that, I'm super excited to talk about Loki for sure. I can't wait to talk about No Way Home, because probably by the time I get it out, it will be plenty of time for those who haven't seen it. It's like, okay, I'm going to spoil the shit out of it for you just because it's been out for so long that I shouldn't really have to tell you spoilers. Like,
Yeah.
I did that with Infinity War. I was like, okay, for those of you that is still yet to see this, and I mean, granted, it's like 3 years old, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I am going to tell you when spoilers do happen, and then you can skip to this timeline. I'm not going to do that with No Way Home, because I'm not even going to do it with Avengers Endgame. Because
It's been long enough.
yeah, it's been long enough. If you haven't seen it and you're watching a review of it, you could just watch my spoiler-free segment and then be fine. Like, I will start off with a description, then I'll start off with my spoiler-free thoughts, and then I'll go into spoilers from there. Like, that's how I do things. But yeah, you know, it'll be nice to get back into editing a lot of that stuff, though. Granted, getting footage for almost all of that is going to be... Whew. That being said, yeah. Anybody got anything else? Nope.
New Batman. I saw the new Batman trailer. It looks good.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. No, that's a perfect trailer. Well, not perfect. I feel like they wanted to add an extra minute into it because it's a badass trailer. I will say this. Have you guys seen the Chinese release trailer? They have a
No.
different musical score, and it's like very stressful strings of a violin, you know, and I'm like,
Oh, that
oh, I
is
like
awesome.
that. Yeah, it's actually really fucking dope, and I hope to God that score's in the movie, because that actually sounds, it's cool. I want to listen to it again. Now, it does reveal somewhat of a spoiler, but I mean, they've been hinting at it for the movies, or from the trailer to begin with, that Edward Nygma knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
kind of like
That's
wild
like,
there.
if they're going to reveal that in the trailer, it's not a big spoiler. It seems to happen fairly early on. So.
that's like part of their battle isn't the mystery of who Batman is. It's Riddler trying to prove that he is better at mind games than Batman.
Yeah. Hey, Faye, I'm gonna send you something that Abby sent me.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's not that dirty. Don't get that freaking happy. It's actually something you're gonna be like. Don't get happy, you filthy degenerate.
You can't tell me what to do.
I wasn't talking to you, Allie. I was talking to the blonde one.
Oh, she's blonde? I assume that she's like, that was dye.
Night,
She's like, dark hair.
Night, everybody.
everybody. Yeah. Just pulls a freaking.
You're on your own with that one, Gallo.
Yeah. Hey, just pulls a freaking Animaniacs like, good night, everybody.
That is all, folks. Fucking
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
You are on your
I
own.
will steal that from you, Christian. I will steal that from you.
It's not me. Abby sent me that.
I will steal it from Abby.
You better. I'm gonna tell her. Now I will say this: if you feel like you're up to driving out to Grand Prairie on the 26th, I'm gonna be visiting her for a little bit to give her gifts. So if you want to meet up there and talk with her,
I don't know.
you can also drag your dumbass boyfriend over there.
You do not want to say that
Because you're not a dumbass. That's a lie. Ooh. Something Star Wars.
Cat fight.
it's Star Wars.
Meow.
Infinity.
Oh my god. Okay, speaking of things I'm going to steal. I'll have Teddy as an accomplice.
Take that up with Teddy because that's his present.
Okay. Fair enough. So Teddy, you want to be my accomplice in stealing your present?
He's getting it to
It's like, you know what? I might as well. Why not?
Wait, are we done with the show? Are we done with the podcast already?
No, it's still
Yeah.
live. If you guys want to wrap it up, I can go ahead and wrap it up.
I think we've reached the point where it's just
Yeah,
a
we're
bunch
kind of
different
done. Hey, look at it this way. We went 2 hours and 7 minutes, so give us some credit. All right, but anyways, that being said, I have been Black Chef 56. This is the SnodaCast. I've been joined by Teddy, Faye,
Hi.
Gallows, Hungry Hufflepuff, aka Allie,
Have a good one.
and of course Red King, aka Jared, and to a lesser extent, a particular character named Shadow. I don't know. Maybe he's a Sonic guy. I don't know. You know, it's whatever. Anyways.
You know who that one is.
I know who he is, yes. Anyways, that being said, this has been the SnodaCast finale for this year. We will see you all next week in our brand new season. SnodaCast Season 3.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
And SnodaCast Season 3 is coming next week, baby. We'll see you all there. Regular time, regular channel. I've been Black Chef